Glad to have you join us on this segment of Engendered on KAFTAN television. And like we said before the break, if you're just joining us, this is a show where we analyze all issues revolving around the female gender. And Victoria and I have rightly introduced ourselves. I am still Chidinma Ufomadu and she is Victoria. And today we'll be doing justice to a particular topic that really affects the female gender today. And we have our guest in the studio, but I don't know if I should introduce her before I introduce the topic or introduce Victoria. How should we do this?
I think introduce her before introduce the topic.
Okay, let me introduce our guest. So our guest today is the founder. She's a lawyer, actually, and she's the founder of Lawyer Support Network. Her name is Ifunaya, Tine, Anona. You're welcome to the show.
Thank you, Chidinma, for having me. Thank you, Victoria.
Yeah, it's nice to have you.
Yeah,
You're welcome to the show.
Thank
so
you
our
so
topic today is a particular topic of interest because it's in commemoration of the International Women's Day, and we are celebrating the women. People say a lot about women. We're a whole lot dramatic, productive. We have a lot of things or characteristics attributed to us. But for you, what do you think that this International Women's Day is about?
Okay, so thanks. I'm glad I'm here this evening. By the way, just like she said, my name is Ifunaya, a practicing lawyer, and I'm the founder of the Lawyers Support Network. And the good thing about this network is it's open to both male and female, but the surprising thing is we have 80% of women in the networks. That's to tell you how productive women tend to be. But the thing is, just as the theme of this year's International Women's Day is embrace equity, I feel like the opportunity for equality has been created, but then the equitable right and the fairness that should be put in place to make women tap into these opportunities have not really been put in place. Now let me explain. You set up an organization and you say openly, okay, men and women can vie for the position of managing director or a chairman, but then you do not give them a level playing ground. We know that, for example, women are to marry, get pregnant, carry the pregnancy for like 9 months, 10 months, eventually give birth. They stay at home to nurture their babies before they eventually resume work. And while they go through all this, the opposite gender, which are the men, are being given out. They are there in the playing field, playing the ball. Do you understand? And no one gets to put these things into consideration to know that the woman basically takes like a year off because she's pregnant. She obviously turns up at work, she comes to work, she has a lot of hormones going there, and you obviously know that she would not put in her best. Then at the end of the day, the man tends to score the goal and takes up that chairman position. Then the next thing, it's all about the men all over the place. Then it feels like the women are not doing enough, and that is because we are not embracing equity as it should be. So now the layman may just say, but it was open for everyone. Yes, it was open for everyone, but was there a consideration? Were all those things put in place? Were all those other factors which would naturally ensure fairness and justice as it were they put in place for the women as well? That's where we can always say, if we are able to embrace these peculiarities of each gender, knowing that, okay, like every month we have like 30 days in a month, and out of the 30 days, every single woman takes off 7 days to see her period, which we know is a lot. Some people do not have issues, some people are in the hospital, some people are being administered with drips, and some people are frustrated, some people are angry, and you do not blame them because these are things going on within their body that no one else understands. They are the only ones that understand themselves. So I just feel like the government especially should make policies that would revolve around those peculiarities of women. Well, that's the only way we can actually say that we've embraced equity.
Okay,
but
so are we actually ready for this equity we're talking about?
In all honesty, I do not think we are.
We see women who are given little chances and then they just overuse it or tend to like go overboard.
Okay, now I wouldn't there's something about me. I wouldn't think the right thing is to generalize. Okay, let me take the aspect of politics. Now we say that we want more women inclusion, we want more women to participate, we want more women to be engaged, but then we know that especially Nigerian politics is quite sensitive and a bit dirty, and you know that most women who may be of age of playing this politics, a lot of them want to get married, a lot are already married, and you find out that your husband wouldn't want you to go out at certain hours of the night. And now I would say if the government is to embrace equity as it should be, some leverage is to be given to the female gender. In that, if someone needs to score at least 25% of a certain vote count in a particular state, why don't we say, okay, we have 2 men vying for this position, we have 1 female vying for this position. For the men, you're supposed to get at least 25% vote count. And for the woman, we're going to give you at least, if you earn at least 50% vote count, then we assume you're the winner. That way, we're allowing her play, even though now someone would say, no, it's maybe majority carries the vote. No. Why I feel we should give the woman this concession, there are a lot of things pulling her back, whether the society likes it or not. She has children dragging her from everywhere. Mommy, I am hungry. Mommy, I want to poop. Mommy, I want to do that. But we all know, no matter how hands-on a man is, once the woman is at home and the man is at home, we know who the children naturally go to.
Okay, sorry, if I can cut you short at this point. Let's go back to our team. Our team says embrace equity.
Yes.
That is the team for this year. So in regards to that, I want to read something. It says equality is given because most of the time some people don't understand the place of equality and equity. It says equality is giving everyone a shoe, but equity is making sure that the shoe fits.
Yeah.
So for example, I can give Victoria a size 30. I've given her a shoe, but if it doesn't fit her, she cannot use the shoe. So we move on to saying there's a difference between equality and equity, and most times women do not require equal treatment but equitable treatment, one that factors out their peculiarities. For example, like our guest has rightly said, pregnancy, childbirth, menstruation, menopause, and even cultural and historical factors. While a man might not be taxed with the challenges of pregnancy, childbirth, and even postpartum care, these are challenges women grapple with, and every aspect of society needs to take cognizance of that. While it's important for women not to be discriminated against, there must be laws that protect women's rights in the society. Equity and equality are inherently different concepts. Although similar, they even share the same etymology. It's important to know and acknowledge the importance of equity. So now, from this particular thing that we have said and the narrative, I want to ask you another question. The same question Victoria asked you earlier. She asked that, are we ready? Because like you rightly say, we see women that are given this opportunity. Now, they can't even play the role importantly. We've discussed about women here that use their menstruation as excuses to carry out their activities, even when they know they can come out and do this job. You see some women use things like, for example, you go to the office and you use excuses of the family. Yeah, we know that it is a big challenge, it's a big work for you to do. But should you be able to bring all those things to play at a place where you have to be productive?
Okay, yes, this is actually, in fact, I am the best person for this topic. You know why? I was born into a family of 7. 6 of us are girls. We have just 1 brother. And I am a mother with 3 daughters only. I do not have a son. So I have like girls all around me. Now, the thing is, I feel women are actually breaking bounds that nobody ever saw them doing. The thing is, no matter how you want to see it, if a child turns bad, all fingers points to the mother.
Yeah.
So that's why whenever someone wakes up in the morning to tell you, I won't be able to come to work because of my family, in all honesty, I feel it's actually because of the family. Because if anything goes wrong in that house, your in-laws are pointing at you, your religious house is pointing at you, the society is pointing at you. Now, there is something else we must take cognizance of, is the fact that a lot of women decide to put aside, okay, now you know that there's something about pursuing your career and pursuing marriage.
Yes.
Most times, if you're not able to manage the two well, one must suffer.
For you, which is a preference, motherhood or career?
In all honesty, motherhood, in all honesty. But the thing is, like I always tell people, as it is now, I do not have a social life. My social life is 0. I can't even boast of like even one person I'll call a friend. I have colleagues, obviously, then I have a lot of clients. So the thing is, I have like a huge clientele base. So you may think I have friends because the way I relate with my clients, it's easy to call them friends.
Okay.
But within down there, I know they are not friends. They are clients who actually met me for maybe one brief or the other. Then along the line, because I am someone who is able to put up conversations, I'm someone who is able to be there for people. So along the line, at times they just call and they start telling me personal things aside work.
Okay.
So someone else somewhere may be thinking they are my friends, they are not. But you know why this is? Because I am someone who, aside being the mother to the 3 kids that I have, and I have my brother living with me, I have my one other little girl living with me. I live with 5 kids actually. So now the thing is this, I am someone who wants to make it in life. I always tell people I want to make it big because I like money.
Okay.
That's it.
Well, like women do like money.
Yeah, I want to make it big. Like I want to have my own money legit. So I see myself working and working and working. But most times people just say, "How are you doing this? Fiscal, how are you doing this?" It is not easy. It's easy to if you're not careful, you see one quickly going down the drain.
Exactly.
Yeah, you see one, and the thing is, the society is quite judgmental. A lot of ladies are not married simply because when suitors were coming, they felt it wasn't time. They wanted to get their career right. Then when they are now ready, the husbands are no longer there. Now you see the society judging them.
All right, let me ask you a question relating to what Chidinma just asked you.
Yeah.
She asked you, which one would you go for?
Exactly.
And you said motherhood.
Yes.
Do you think women should be put in that position to choose between
Exactly.
career and motherhood? Because you see the men having to play both, and they play them very well.
Yeah. Now, I feel they play them well because we're in a society where we actually think, like the average Nigerian thinks all the man should provide his money. In all honesty. It shouldn't be. Like you find out that that's why a lot of Nigerian men go out there, they go to the Western world and they find it very difficult to adapt. Because when you go there, it's difficult to get house helps. You cannot afford them. It's quite like expensive to pay them because you must pay minimum wage. So the thing is, when they get there and they find out that they have to bath the children themselves, they have to wash plates, they have to cook. The next thing you see them on Instagram ranting, since my wife now came here and became a nurse, she doesn't want to do anything in the home. No, she has to go to work, and you cannot afford house. Unlike here where, you know, we do not pay them, like we actually overburden people, and at the end of the month you're giving them just 20,000, 30,000, and you see some homes even having 3 house helps. But over there you cannot. So you find out that even like in the Western world, we have men who are house husbands.
Yeah.
And that's because they know the woman earns more. So
Yeah.
the only thing for them to do is to now stay at home and take care of the kids
children.
while the woman works. Yeah, so that's what it should be. But here we just believe that once he's buying bag of rice at home and that's it.
Sometimes they don't even get to even buy
Buy
anything.
the bag of rice. So you see the woman will labor like a horse. She has to take care of the home front. She has to provide financially. She has to be there mentally for her kids. She has to be there to get the emotional burden. And that's why at times you see them fall prey for the so-called men of God, because at the end of the day, every burden is on them and they have nobody to run to.
But don't you think sometimes the women also play, like they act like contributing factors?
Yeah.
For example, we see it's trending everywhere now. Everybody wants to be an Oga's wife.
Yeah, sure.
And the intention, and the funny thing about that Oga's wife is, in turn, in quotes, they just want the man to provide the money. So at that point, a woman doesn't even pay attention to the man's character or his attributes. They just want the money. So sometimes, do you really blame these men? It's what the women bring to them that they take on board.
And to add to what you said, I remember we were having this discussion in Ondo during like a tit-a-tit conversation like this, and the man, it was during that time they had this issue of plenary. They want women to form most parts in the National Assembly, and they were saying women should not just ask for it, women should take it. Most often we see women asking that give us opportunity. Men do not come out and say give us opportunity. They just go there and grab it, and it's all going
yeah,
there.
because okay, you know what it is? The thing is, okay, I would say this, at some point last year I was appointed the legal advisor for African Democratic Congress FCT chapter, and within the time frame I held this position, you wouldn't believe it, people call you up midnight telling you all manner of things, how you're going to petition somebody, how you're going to bring the other one down, and maybe the time you're calling me is when I'm supposed to breastfeed. I have a child who is not up to 2. Then the next thing, they're calling you to tell you that there is a meeting at 9 in one place, 9 p.m. I'm a mother, for crying out loud. So at the end of the day, when the women ask that you should include them, it's not all about buying the ticket. There is more to it. And that's why most times, if you look at the few women excelling in politics, look at their marriages, it may not be going right. Now, the society tends to join them. See this one, her husband is gone. See this one, divorcee, idiot. See this one, the other one. But that's it. Because she has to sacrifice one for the other. So at some point I had to resign.
Okay.
I wrote them and I said, I don't think I am ready for this.
Oh, that's really to show that you love motherhood.
Yes, I had to resign because I must be there for my girls.
Okay, now, but looking at it from this perspective, you mentioned earlier that sometimes if somebody calls that they can't come to her because of family, it's really because of family.
Yeah.
Let's look at it now. Let me use our workplace as an example.
Yeah.
We have to do this program now, and it must go now.
Yes.
We're talking about airtime here, you get. And if, for example, Victoria and I now say, oh, we have to attend to our husbands or family or children, so we can't be here. And at this point, we can't be here, meaning this production might fail if there is no backup for it. If everybody in an organization has that mindset, don't you think it's going to affect our productivity at large?
No, in all honesty, I understand what you're saying. Some people are very they enjoy transit. They just like being absent when they should be present. They like being outlaws. They don't just want to be there. So most times they just tell you, sorry ma, I won't be able to make it today, my daughter is sick. And her daughter is not sick, she's only going to attend a party. But she just knows that the most valid excuse that nobody will question is using the child as an excuse. Because at that point your hands are tied. I always tell people, no matter what it is, there are lines you shouldn't cross, and that's when it comes to children. So most times, when I notice that it has become a recurring decimal, not like your child is a sickler, you just keep telling me your child is sick, your child is, at that point I have to lay you off because you're not ready. I have my own children too, and at times I have to sacrifice one thing for the other. There are times my daughter is maybe a bit under the weather, and I know that there is something I must attend to. I have a case in court. I have a meeting scheduled, and the person I have this meeting with came from another state. And I wouldn't just, someone is coming maybe from Dubai just to see me. Then the next thing you're here, we have a meeting somewhere. Then I call you up to say my child is sick. I feel it's you not being human. I feel it's you not being disciplined. So at that point, all I do is maybe I tell my husband that, you know what, I have this meeting and I cannot afford to miss this meeting. So you must spend like at least 1 hour, 2 hours to be with this child while I run off. So I just believe that there is always balance in everything. So if you have that person in the organization who is always using a child as an excuse, sorry, I have to lay you off, you're not ready, maybe you should go be with your child.
Okay, well, okay, let me ask this very question. Now, oftentimes they say women, in all ramifications, because I know I've used this context before, but in this context, women are the issue or problem of the issues women face. Now, in when you're talking about this inequality going on in the country, and especially in Africa and this Nigerian as a clan. Now we see men who would not, we see women who actually have the backings of their men, and they tend to like excel higher in their career. And we also see men who will say, no, my mother would stay at home, do this for my dad, do everything. Don't you think women are the issue?
No, at that point I totally agree with you. Now, you know, just as Chidinma said initially, at times we do not look at the red flags. We are more focused on the material things. Maybe at the time he met you, he bought you an iPhone 14, you're no longer looking at the fact that, will this man support my vision? Will this man support my career? Is it bad? Does he really buy into my ideas? These are like, for me, at the time I wanted to get married, like, it was very important to me. In fact, when my husband went to meet my dad, the very first time he went, like in Igbo land, there's something we call introduction. When he went for introduction, my father told him categorically, I have them 6 girls and I want them to excel. So if you know you're that man who wouldn't want them to fly when they should fly, please, can you leave my house? And I told him, like, I told him the moment we met, I told him, see, I want to excel in legal practice. I am very good with business, so just know that I'm going to be that wife who may wake up in the morning and tell I'm going on a business trip. But just know that I wouldn't do anything to compromise my belief, because I just know that I believe so much in the fact that if you're emotionally vested in something, you shouldn't at any point try to cheat the other person. So I believe so much in that law of whatever it is you feel that if someone does to you, you won't like it, do not do it to someone else. So at that point, my husband has come to understand that she's very career driven, she's very ambitious. So most times, like today, I told him, like, was it 2 days ago that I'll be going to KAFTAN TV. He said by 5. I said even if it's by 10, I'll go. He just said okay. So at maybe like 4:45, when he called me, I told him that I'm still in traffic. He said, are you sure you'll be able to make it? I said, I'll try. So when we got to somewhere around approaching, I don't even know the area well, but maybe, I don't know the axis, maybe approaching here, we still met another traffic because one filling station was hard fuel. So people were, So I just told the driver, you know what, once you cross here, try to speed there, because I must be there at 5. So when I got to the gate, I just looked at my time, it was 2 minutes past 5. I said, at least I still made it. So it's all about determination. It's all about, when you meet that man, what is your priority? Are you all about going to take Cold Stone or something without even put everything on the table, know who you're dealing with? Because the truth is, people do not just change. If he suddenly starts behaving that way, that's because that is who he has always been. You're just the one who didn't find out because you didn't want to find out.
Well, I'm talking about the root cause, in the sense that women would, you have, okay, you said you do not have a son, but women who have children, like the main gender, will teach their sons that, oh, this woman should always have to be with you. There's no way, because I find out that most of the issues these men have, it's not like they do not want to, but they don't know how to do it. Their parents did not train them how to cook. The parents did not train them how to sweep the house, so they just depend solely on their wives, and that's why you see most of them, they want to just get married on time because they want someone who is going to train, do the house chores for them, so they have no choice.
Yeah, that's what I always tell people. Cooking, by the way, is a survival skill. Yeah, like if you're on the desert, can you feed yourself? If suddenly war breaks out and everybody just disperses and you're the only one left somewhere with stove and pots, can you at least make something to eat? So it's not even all about wife. Your wife is not a slave. Yes, there are gender roles in the family, and we all know that naturally it's the duty of the woman to cook. But then I've seen homes where it's the man who cooks because he cooks better and he enjoys cooking. So he doesn't even want the wife to cook because he does it better. I've seen homes where it is the man that does groceries. Like every Saturday he goes to a market in Nasarawa State to buy things, meat. He will come back, enter the kitchen, you see him washing meat, and the wife is watching television. He enjoys doing it. Even when the wife wants, he will say, no, you will not watch this meat. Well, wait, I want to make pepper soup. Yes. Seriously, but you know the problem we have. I think we're our own problem. Now you see such men, the woman next door or the man next door may now start gossiping that it's like that one's under influence of drugs.
Yes, they have charged him.
Because we
have told him to
I'm actually thinking the same already.
I'm not thinking the same.
Seriously, because we found ourselves in a community, in a nation where everything, where we just keep turning everything upside down. Like if you go out there, you actually see men doing these things.
Yeah, you do.
Yes, because you are yourself and your wife, you have your times to work. So when your wife is at work, you probably will be the one to make lunch because you are home. So the moment she comes back, she meets the lunch you made, she eats the lunch while you go to work. So by the time you come back, she has already made dinner. So it just keeps going that way. But in Nigeria, we're already fond of house helps everywhere that we never even get to pay well. So the moment you see the man managing to even wash the plate he used, though, the woman will just pass and say, did you see that Mr. Bola inside kitchen washing? I told you that woman has used jazz. How? Because you're washing plates in your own home. For crying out loud, even the Bible makes us understand that the woman is the helpmeet. So what does that teach us? The man should lead while the woman follows. So I think it has come to a place where, like the millennial moms, let's even start, because Gen Z, a lot of them are not still getting married. So like, the millennial moms should begin to teach their sons. You should lead while your wife follows. And that's why most times you find out that once the woman travels for 3 weeks, our guy is already sleeping with house help. Because most of them have not been able to structure their mind towards independence. They've not been able to structure their minds towards, I just need to be there even when she's not there. They just believe that if she's not there, I need someone else immediately. You understand? We need to teach ourselves to know that you can be on your own without any woman around you even. So when your wife is not there, even if it's just yourself and your children, you should be able to fill in that role. Because we find out that in Africa, once a woman dies, even on the day of the burial, the man already has another woman on the day of the wife's burial. Because that's the way most men have been made to believe that a man needs someone immediately. But we find out that when it is the man who dies, a lot of women may never marry again. You see someone stay 20 years a widow alone. Now, if the bold ones who believe that it is not good for a man to be alone, who decides to, do you know what, I have to pick up myself, I have to find love again. The moment she finds love again, you see the society judging her. That why will she move on immediately? Are you sure she's not the one that killed the man?
You know, it will add to what you said now, a personal experience. When I lost my dad, somebody on the day of the burial, someone came to my mom and said, and we're just consoling her. And the next thing she could say was, don't have boyfriends, don't keep boyfriends around you. And I I didn't know what was going on. It was after my mom told me. And I'm like, what audacity.
Exactly.
First of all, she didn't even have the intention of even remarrying. So to now talk about keeping boyfriends. So that's what was in their head. They keep saying things like, okay, now my brother has left children with you and his wealth. So don't allow another man to come in and take. But if it is the man, trust me, sometimes the family will go and look for another woman to replace. So now let's look at the role of women in the society. You hear people, it has even turned to a joke. People are talking about in the other room. The role of woman is in the kitchen, is in the other room. That is always the first thing that comes to some people's head. That's why we have the high rate of rape.
Yes.
Some men see women as just sexual beings, like, okay, just for pleasure. That's all we use you for. So now, how do we identify the roles of women in society, and how can we women also help? Because there's sometimes that if the society does not help you to upgrade, you upgrade yourself. Exactly. So how do we bring ourselves up to that level and show them that we are more than this? Because at the end of the day, like what I said, it's really heartbreaking. But you hear these things. Some people say it as a joke. It could be funny. We could say that. But deep down, it's some people's dream to just become Oga's wife.
Yes.
Everybody wants to have a soft level, want to chill, want to enjoy. Quite all right. I also want to enjoy. But if my criteria for getting married is just to marry an Oga, in the terms that he has the money to take care of what I need, meaning I should be able to condole a lot of things. You see stories everywhere. Some women come out and tell you stories like their men beat them, domestic violence happens in the home, but he will pamper me later, he will buy me gifts after that. You hear there was a story a girl shared on social media, and she said she was going the problem was her partner liked BDSM. That's where you use the whip and everything, painful sex and all of that. But she did not like it. While they were dating, she knew that was what he liked. But she felt he would change with time, and she was enjoying the money. She spelled it as, I was enjoying the money he was giving me. And I was thinking, but now I've come to realize that I have to deal with this for the rest of my life. I can't deal again. What covered her eyes? It was the money. It was the fund. So sometimes you will see ladies will just come out and say, I just need him to just send me money. It comes out as a joke, but sometimes that is some people's mindset, and we are bringing it into the coming generation now. People the children under us, we don't even have enough role models. Who can you look up to now? Ask some children, I like that auntie. Why? I like her hair, I like her dress, I like her shoes. That is what people are looking at right now. So how can we identify our role in society, and how can we as women also upgrade ourselves to that level that we show the world and the men that we are more than what they just see us to be?
Okay, I like this what you just raised. So first and foremost, you must be confident as a woman. Like for me, that's one thing that works for me. I am not a fashionista. I do not know, I'm not interested in whatever fashion that's going on. But you know what works for me most times is when I enter a room full of people, I always have the right words to say. So women should be able to build your confidence. Look yourself in the mirror and talk to yourself. You are more than enough. Do not allow anybody to talk down on you. Then another thing I tell people, be less confrontational, be more pragmatic. I'm very pragmatic. I believe so much in acting towards success. Like I just believe so much that the only reward for anything, like the way I revenge when someone does something to me is success. If you've laughed at me to say, imagine at your age you don't have a job, I'll just look at you and smile and say, don't worry, I'm coming. Just come back in a few years. I'm employing people and I'm ready to employ you. Just bring your CV. I do not believe the moment you tell me we'll start shouting, because that's what people have reduced women to. So most times in public places, when you see maybe two men confronting each other or having issues, then in the third party comes to say, why are you acting like a woman? That's because most times we see ourselves shouting. Be less confrontational, act more, be very result oriented. If they laugh at you and they say, go and give birth for your husband, it is God who gives children. Do not as a human being, it would to an extent affect you emotionally, but that's all it should be to it. After that, they pick up yourself. Try other means of giving birth if you can. You can try the IVF, you can try whatever it is, but if that fails, you can be the channel through which other people can give birth to their own children. That also counts for you. You can adopt children. You can try surrogacy. Do not allow someone to just use their mouth to put you there on the ground, and the next thing you feel the whole world is against you, and the next thing you become so unproductive. So that means you're unable to give birth. You can't even make money. You do not have career. Then the next thing your life has ended. It doesn't work that way. So build your confidence, be less confrontational, be less emotional, build your emotional intelligence. In all honesty, build your intelligence quotient, Abby. Try, seriously, let your head be up there. Nobody likes to invest in an empty vessel. I always tell people, I read a lot, like every night. My mother just on and see me looking at my phone. Don't you sleep? Like I have to. I've practiced law for 10 years, and I do not want to be that lawyer who will just be shouting, I was called to buy in 2012. I was called to buy in 2012. They ask you questions you cannot answer. You cannot defend your client. You cannot join conversations. Exactly. So people want to know that you're intelligent. It goes beyond the heels. It is good to look good. It goes beyond the bone straight. Now, the head that the bone straight is sitting on, is there anything in the head?
Thank you.
That's the question. So seriously, try as much as you can to be that intelligent woman, so that when they approach you for empty conversations and you open your mouth to spill and you're speaking sense, the next thing you find out that the man who was coming to ask you for the color of your pants is suddenly asking you for your CV. He's suddenly asking you, what do you have something I can invest in? He's suddenly asking you how much is the product. He's suddenly asking you how can we collaborate. So you should try to, the Bible said we should study to show ourselves approved.
So that's one that needs not to be ashamed.
Study to show yourself honesty. Then another thing, if you're in a marriage or you're in a union where you're being abused physically, emotionally, psychologically, financially, yes, because some people are under financial abuse.
Yeah, true.
The man doesn't want you to work, yet he wouldn't provide for you. You know why? Because he needs to use poverty as a weapon against you. That way you cannot leave him, because you do not even have money to leave him. So you're just there and he's tormenting your life. Then the next thing, you lose yourself. You begin to have nervous breakdown. You begin to doubt yourself. He gaslights you so much that you've lost yourself completely. You do not even know your self-worth again. And the next thing, you begin to think everything is your fault. No, pick yourself and run.
Thank you so much.
I have more questions.
Our time is up. I think we'll call her back for another episode.
Yeah,
again.
sure. I'm always ready. Yeah.
It's an interesting session with you. And celebrating International Women's Day, I'm proud. I'm really I'm more than proud to be a woman. If I come out in the next
not just a woman, a preacher woman.
I will still be a woman. Please, I like my baby girl life, even though it never stopped here, but it's still on the process of getting
sure.
So do well to join us again for another interesting episode of Engendered on Thursday by 5 p.m. And please, women, always represent our gender properly, and always look up to be a role model to somebody around you. So many children are looking up to you. They have things to tell you, stories they want to inform you about. But are you walking the right paths for them to be able to come and meet you and you give them the right advice? Please do better for yourself.
Well, just like as our guest has said, be less confrontational and be more result oriented. Until next time, I am Victoria Agbi. Bye.